Welcome to Yoga for First Responders. I'm Heather, and today our focus is going to be on twisting. There are a lot of benefits of twisting in yoga, some of which we'll talk throughout class, but just to begin, twisting through the spine is a great way to just increase mobility through the spine, move that natural movement of the spine. Going side to side. It's a great way to lengthen, to stretch all through the muscles, through the back, through the ribs, through the torso, which helps not only our breath to flow better, but just to feel better in general. And it also helps to regulate the nervous system. As we twist, especially through the spinal column, it stimulates the vagus nerve in multiple areas, which helps calm the body. And so oftentimes as you twist, especially in my favorite, the supine twist, you might just get that feeling of like being able to relax. So hopefully we can get there with you today, and so let's go ahead and get started. So find a comfortable seat on your mat, on a chair, wherever you are seated today, and go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Try to bring those shoulders right above the hips here, and begin to find your breath. Just notice how you are naturally breathing today. Maybe your eyes are closed, or you can just find a gentle downward gaze, just helping to relax the muscles around the eyes and in the face. And let's just take a few breaths here. Just being grateful for your body, allowing you to be here to practice yoga. Being grateful for your breath, the breath that keeps you going throughout the day. And try to be grateful for the space that you are in. Let's take just 2 more breaths here, noticing how the body is breathing. You can feel any movement throughout the body, maybe through the torso as you breathe. And then that next inhale, let's reach those arms all the way out to the sides, up towards the ceiling until you feel those hands connect. And then exhaling your hands down to your heart center. So a couple breaths like that. Deep breath in, really reach out to the sides all the way up towards the ceiling. And exhaling, hands come together all the way down towards your heart. And once more like that, inhaling as we reach and extend. Exhaling all the way down. Now this time as we breathe, let's reach all the way up. And on the exhale, we're going to turn to our right side. Gently open those arms. Bring one hand towards the knee, the other hand to the floor, and just find a gentle twist. Don't worry about going very far. We're just warming up. Inhaling as we reach those arms back up. And then exhaling as we twist to the opposite side. Starting to find some movement in the spine, both directions. Go ahead and go on both sides one more time. Inhaling as we lift and lengthen, and then exhaling opposite side. As we inhale those arms back up, let's keep our left arm lifted. We'll lower our right hand towards the floor. Inhaling as we reach straight up towards the ceiling, and then exhale maybe over to the side. And a little side bend. And then as you're ready, switching those arms. Inhaling as you lift, and exhaling over to the side. Let's go 2 times each direction. So our spine moves in 6 directions. Forward, back, side to side, and twist, twist. So we try to incorporate all of those movements through the spine in every class, just to help keep our spine nice and healthy. And just finishing those sides. Lowering both hands towards the floor whenever they get there, no rush. And then go ahead and take a few shoulder rolls here. Drawing those shoulders up and back and down. Okay, let's go ahead and bring both hands to the floor. We're going to come forward onto all fours here. So bringing those hands to the floor about shoulder width apart. Those knees are on the mat about hip width apart. And really try to stack those joints. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. We're going to take a few breaths here again to start to wake up through the spine. So on our next inhale, imagine the spine getting a little bit longer. As you reach forward through the crown of your head, the gaze is down at the floor. reaching back through your tailbone. So nothing's really moving here, but just try to think about that spine lengthening, create a little space in between each one of those vertebrae. So one more breath, inhaling as you reach and extend, grounding down into those fingertips. And then on the breath out, we're just gonna bring our right hip towards the right shoulder. So try and keep those hips still above those knees so we're not coming out to the side really. Hips are above those knees. We're just finding a little side crunch here. Right hip towards right shoulder. And then inhale, and as we come back to center, and on the exhale, we're gonna bring left hip towards left shoulder. Maybe even turn that gaze back towards those hips. Inhaling back to center, and exhaling opposite side. Just a couple times with your breath. Inhaling as you come back through center. Exhaling, bring maybe left shoulder towards left hip or whatever side you might be on. Just once more each direction. Breathing into the open side of the torso. And making your way back to a neutral spine. Now we're going to move through a few cat and cows. Now you have the option, especially if you're just starting out, sometimes cat and cows feel a little awkward, so you can always do this seated. Otherwise, we're really grounding down into those fingertips. Find a little bend in those elbows. Starting to fire those muscles around the elbow joint. On our inhale, we're going to drop the belly towards the floor, lifting the hips up high, turning the gaze up as you lift through the crown of the head. And then on the exhale, we're going to go the opposite direction. So you're going to round through the back, lifting the belly away from the floor, bringing your chin towards your chest. Again, inhale, reaching the chest forward, then lifting it up, lifting up and back through those hips. And exhaling as you round, slightly tuck in the hips as you bring the chin closer to the chest. 2 more times each direction. You can move with your breath, or you can stay and hold anywhere along the way if that feels better. It's a great way to start waking up those muscles through the back, through the ribs, through the chest. And finishing each direction here, making your way back to a neutral spine, and then go ahead and reach those hips back towards those heels as we extend those arms forward into our child's pose. Allowing the head to either rest on your mat, or you can always bring your hands underneath the forehead, or if this isn't super comfortable on the knees or the hips, you can always come up and just be seated on those knees. So let's just take 3 breaths wherever you are seated here. Maybe you can feel the breath expanding into the upper back, into the sides of the rib cage. And then exhaling as everything relaxes and comes back in. Okay, as you're ready, extending those arms forward, lifting those hips, tucking the toes, go ahead and reach those hips back and all the way up towards the ceiling, finding your downward dog. As always, in your first downward dog, or any downward dog, you can walk out those heels, wake up through the back of those legs. You can move through the hips, you can move through the shoulders, just find your space. And then go ahead and relax both heels towards the floor. We'll turn that gaze forward in between those hands and step in those feet forward towards the front of our mats. Once we get there, let's inhale, just lift halfway up. Finding a nice long spine here. And exhale. Try to maintain that length through the spine as you fold over those legs. Deep bend in those knees, very slowly making your way up to standing. Let's bring our arms with us. Keeping those knees bent if you get a little lightheaded. Sorry, my head's getting cut off. And exhale, go ahead and bring those hands down toward your heart. Check in, noticing how you are breathing here for a moment. And we're going to move. So bring awareness to those feet, grounding down into the big toe, into the pinky toe, into the center of the heel. And then on our inhale, let's reach those arms out and up. Exhaling, forward fold, bending those knees, hinging at those hips, folding over those legs. Nice deep breath in. As we lift halfway up, you can always bring hands to the legs to help lengthen through the spine. Exhaling, forward fold. Stepping our right foot to the back. Go ahead and lower down to that right knee, untucking the toes. And inhaling, we'll lift both arms up. Exhaling, hands to our heart. We're going to find a gentle twist to the left side. So turning towards that front knee. Inhale, let's go ahead and come back to center. Exhaling, hands to the floor. Lifting the right knee so you can step the left foot back, downward dog, and then inhale, coming forward to your plank. Lowering down to both knees, and on the exhale, let's bend those elbows, gently lower all the way down to the chest and the belly, and inhaling, baby cobra. Just a tiny lift. Maybe even those fingertips can lift off the mat. We're just reaching the chest forward, the tailbone back. Exhaling, relax. Inhaling back up to those knees, tucking the toes, reaching your hips back, and all the way up, downward dog. Bending into this right knee. Let's step our right foot forward. Lowering down to our left knee this time. Inhale, reaching arms up. And exhaling, hands through our heart center as we turn to our right side. Finding a gentle twist this direction. Inhaling back up to center. Exhaling, hands find the mat. Stepping that back foot to the front. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Deep bend in those knees, grounding down into the big toes. Slowly make your way up to standing. And exhaling, hands to your heart. Let's continue to move. Inhaling as you reach arms up. Exhaling, swan dive down. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling as we fold. Maybe we step our left foot back this time. Let's keep that left knee lifted off the mat as we inhale, arms up into a high lunge. And exhaling once again, hands through the heart center as we turn to our right. Let's take 2 breaths here, pausing in this twist. Elbows can be lifted, or you can gently rest it on the top of that knee. Next breath in, coming back up through center. Exhaling, hands find the floor. Go ahead and step this front foot back. Maybe lift it all the way up. And then exhale and lower it down to the floor. Inhaling forward to your plank. Shoulders come above those wrists. You can lower to those knees and come all the way down, or you can stay on those toes and lower halfway down. Inhale, lifting the heart. Forward and up. Exhale, engaging through the core. Lifting those hips, downward dog. And then on our inhale, let's lift our left leg. Reaching it back. Exhaling, bending that left knee. Stepping that foot towards the front of your mat. And inhale, reaching arms up. As we lift, even though we're just lifting through the arms, think about lifting from the lower belly, from the lower back, all the way up. So lengthening through the spine, and then exhaling, hands find our heart center as we twist to our left. Towards that front knee. Finding your breath, just pause for 2 full breaths here. And when you're ready, inhaling back to center, exhaling, those hands find the floor. Let's step that back foot to the front. As we breathe in, lifting halfway up, finding space through the spine, exhaling as we fold. Deep bend in those knees, slowly making your way up to standing. And exhaling, go ahead and lower those hands down to your heart center. Taking a few breaths here. Maybe turning that gaze downward, or you can always close those eyes. One more full breath. Just slowing down that exhale. Maybe bring awareness back to those feet, grounding down. Okay, on our next breath in, let's reach those arms straight back up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, we're going to sit our hips back towards into our chair. So reaching them back and down, and then let's inhale, go ahead and stand back up. Turning the gaze up, finding a little extended mountain here, and then exhaling as those hips sit back. Inhaling as we stand back up, strong through the legs. Exhaling, hips reach back and down. One more time, inhaling as we lift. And then exhaling as we lower those hips, finding a pause right here. Go ahead and bring those hands to your heart center. Taking a peek down, see if you can see those toes. If not, maybe we stand up a little taller, or we sit those hips back a little further. So our weight's back in our heels, back in our hips, strong through the core. especially as we twist. We want to engage the core to protect the lower back and stabilize the pelvis. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Try to lengthen. Once again, lift through the crown of the head. On the breath out, we'll turn to, same the opposite side as you, to your right side. There we go. Elbows can stay lifted, gently pressing into those fingertips as we keep those shoulders open. Inhale, let's come back to center, and exhaling to the opposite side here. Moving with our breath, inhaling as we come back through center, exhaling to the right. Inhaling center, exhaling to the left. Here we go, one more time. Inhaling back through center, exhaling, we're going to come to the right and we're going to pause. Elbows can stay lifted, or if you want to deepen the twist, you can bring elbow to the opposite knee. Once again, try to reach forward through the crown of the head as you reach back through the tailbone. One more full breath here. And then on that next inhale, slowly coming forward. You've got this. Last time to the side as we twist. Try and keep the chest a little bit higher than those hips if possible. Those knees pointing straight ahead. One more full breath. And then we'll give those legs a break. So on that next inhale, go ahead and come back to center. Let's lift all the way up, straightening out those legs. And exhale, forward fold. Folding over those legs, untucking the head. Feel free to shake that head no, nod it yes. Keeping a soft bend in those knees to help that lower back release. All right. Bringing your head back to center. Deepening or bending into those knees. And inhale, let's go ahead and slowly make our way back up to standing. Exhaling, our hands to our heart. Inhaling, deep breath in as we reach and extend all the way up. Exhale, bending those knees, forward fold. Stepping our right foot to the back. Inhale, let's reach both arms all the way up. On our exhale, let's bring those hands to our heart center, gently turning to our left. Now this time, options would be to keep elbows lifted. Maybe elbow comes to the knee, or you can lower the right hand to the floor and the left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. We're going to pause just for 3 breaths. Try to bring your awareness, your focus to your breath here. Grateful for that breath that keeps us here in the moment. And on that next exhale, maybe reach back behind you and then lowering your hand towards the floor. Let's step that back foot to the front. Inhaling, halfway lift, finding some space, some length through the spine. Exhaling, forward fold, and our left foot steps back this time. Inhale, grounding down into the front heel as we lift the arms up. Exhaling, hands by our heart center, gently turning to the right. Finding your space, whether elbows stay lifted, elbow to the knee, or opening those arms. One hand to the floor, one hand to the sky. Finding that breath in through the nose and out through the nose, or the mouth if that's more comfortable. We've got it. One more full breath here. Strong through the legs, strong through the core. And on that next exhale, reaching all the way back and down to the floor. Go ahead and step that front foot back, lifting those hips, downward dog. Maybe we shake out those legs, bending through those knees. And then slowly lowering down to both knees, bringing big toes together and sitting back into your child's pose. Finding a space for the forehead to rest, unless you're up on those knees or seated. Taking about 3 breaths here just to pause, to check in, and to breathe. On that next breath in, let's Let's extend those arms forward once again, hands about shoulder width apart. And slowly we're gonna lift our hips, tuck our toes. Try to reach those hips back again, so really keep that length through the spine as we lift the hips up. Sometimes those knees need to stay bent in order to maintain that length through the spine, and that's okay. That's better than rounding through the back and having straight legs. So go ahead and turn that gaze forward. We're gonna step those feet to the front, but try to keep those hips low so you can have a seat on your mat. And then we're actually going to roll all the way down onto our backs. So if you want to scoot forward even more, just make sure you have space behind you. Go ahead and bring those knees with you all the way down in towards the chest. And if comfortable in that lower back, maybe you just rock those knees side to side a few times. Okay, as we bring those knees back to center, we'll keep our right knee drawn in, and let's extend that left leg out on the floor. And with those hands on the top of that right knee, go ahead and make a few circles with that right knee. Trying as much as possible to relax through the hip, and just allowing the hand and the arm to move the knee around rather than the movement coming from the hip. So just a few circles here. Maybe try going the opposite direction a couple times with those circles. They can be little, they can be big. And as that knee comes back to center, gently guiding it over towards your left side. So we're going to roll onto the left hip, the left side body. And then the right arm is going to reach all the way out to the right side. You can even turn that gaze to the right if that feels okay on the neck. Now it's a very deep supine twist. So if your knee does not need to be touching the floor, it can just be hovering over the floor. Or sometimes if you have a block or a pillow or something, you can bring it underneath that right knee for support. Otherwise, we just allow those shoulders to relax down towards the mat. Maybe they're touching the mat, maybe they're not. Try to soften through the hip, through the knee. We're just twisting from that lower back all the way up to the crown of the head. Another benefit of twisting is it helps to stimulate those digestive organs through the stomach, the intestines, all the way down, help things move along. So just make sure you drink lots of water after your practice. Let's take 3 more breaths here. I'll stop talking so you can just relax. When you feel ready on that next inhale, engaging through the core and slowly lifting that knee back up to center. Let's bring both feet flat to the mat and just pause right here for a moment in the middle, allowing the spine to realign, come back to center. Taking a moment to notice both sides of the body, both hips, just how everything feels. And then when you feel ready, we'll switch sides. So we'll extend that right leg on the floor. We'll draw the left knee in towards the body. Maybe we stay and hold right here, or you can find some circles with that left knee. Again, trying to use your hand, your arm to guide the knee around. Releasing or relaxing as much as possible into that left hip joint. Go the opposite direction a few times with those circles. And then slowly bringing the knee back to center, and we will guide that knee over towards our right. Rolling onto that right hip, right side of the body, just allowing the knee to relax here, and we will open our left arm. Reach the left arm out towards the side of the room, Maybe even turn your gaze to the left if that's okay on the neck. And the right arm can just hang out. It can be on the belly. I like to place it on the belly to kind of feel the breath. Or it can be out to the right side. Just try to avoid pressing that knee down. We don't need that added pressure through the joint there. So just take a few moments to pause here, to soften into this twist, and to breathe. About 3 full breaths here. As you feel ready, engaging through the core, and guiding that knee back up to center. Go ahead and bring both feet flat to the floor, knees pointed up. And then maybe walk those feet out toward the edges of your mat, a little wider than those hips, and then just allowing the knees to rest alongside one another. It's a great spot for the lower back to completely relax here, not having to stretch or strengthen or do anything. Maybe you close your eyes, or maybe you just find a gentle gaze up at the ceiling. And as we slow things down, let's again try to find the breath. Just allowing that breath to come back to its natural pace. As you breathe in, just imagining the air moving in throughout the body into all the space that you've created. On the breath out, sending out with it tightness, tension, toxins. Feeling the body just get a little bit lighter with each breath out. Let's take 5 more breaths here. Okay, when you feel ready, making that breath a little bit deeper. So we start to fill up through the lungs, into the belly. Bring a little bit of energy back into the body. And then let's slowly straighten out those legs in front of us. We're reaching those arms up overhead and just take a nice big stretch from fingertip to toe. And then on an exhale, drawing those knees back in towards the chest. Maybe wrap your arms around your legs, and then feel free to roll over onto one side and help yourself up that way. Or you can bring your hands behind the legs and rock and roll your way up. So however you'd like to get there, just making your way back up to a seat. Taking one more moment to just check in with yourself. Maybe I'm trying to find one word to describe how you feel in this moment. It's okay, my word is often hungry. So no, whatever it might be, just checking in. And then on that next breath in, let's reach those arms back up. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhaling out through the nose as those hands find our heart center. And one more breath together as we breathe in, taking a breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. All right, thank you for joining me once again for yoga. I hope that felt okay on the spine, on the back, and you feel a little more calm yet energized. So have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Namaste.